Hey everyone, Catch 'em All Collectibles here. In today's video, I'm going to ruffle some feathers. I'm going to have a conversation. I'm going to show actual data, not feelings, anything like that. Let's jump right into it. What am I trying to say with today's video? PSA grades too easily. That's not me saying it. That's the market saying it. That's the data saying it. I think PSA may someday have to reckon with this. I think the market wants more for certain cards in certain instances. There's a lot of nuance I could dive into there. Maybe we'll talk about it on a live stream, but today's a pre-recorded video. So let me hash out the information. I could buy a PSA 10 Charizard EX, number 349 from Shiny Treasures, EX. Japanese card, high print quality, and I could buy it right now for 140 bucks, 175 bucks. There's a lot of listings. There's a lot of cards out there. And sold listings like actual data, actual available for sale cards on eBay, PSA 10 sold. There's always going to be a lot of variance, but 131, likely a best offer there. Likely it wasn't actually 193. Unfortunately, eBay doesn't show us that. 140, 144, 143, 133. You get the idea. So PSA cards, same card, the Chase card from Shiny Treasure EX, a Japanese specialty set. What do they do at CGC? $529. That's not the low list. That's the best match that eBay gives us. 400, 350, 500. Those are roughly what the card is listed for. Obviously, there's a lot less out there for multiple reasons. One, CGC grades harder. Two, less people grade there. So there's multiple things going on there. But what did the actual prices do? We know PSA was going between 130 and 150, somewhere in that vicinity. PSA itself, PSA's eBay account itself sold one for 300. Over double what the PSA 10 goes for. You've got 170. That one listed a buy it now low, seemingly under market for whatever reason. 230 could have been a best offer. You've got a couple best offers there, but you've got a 290. Not a best offer. You've got an actual sale. You've got auctions now. Auctions, we don't know always that they're paid. Again, thank you, eBay, for not giving us that insight. But 260, 250, 225 with Z&G Emporium. James is actually someone that you could probably reach out and confirm whether this one was paid or not. Maybe James will let us know in the comments below. But anyways, there's enough data here that one of these, some of these, most of these are certainly real transactions. And you get the idea. CGC 10 pristine, the highest graded CGC, goes for more than the highest grade at PSA. Now let's take it to the next level. Black label. There's only one. There's only one listed. Listed very high. I don't think the card is worth this. I don't think the card will sell for this. Mind you, I'm showing you eBay only. I've sold some of these cards in all three different grades. Maybe not a CGC 10 pristine. I have sold a PSA 10 and I have sold multiple black labels on my consignment service with Fanatics. If you're interested in reaching out, if you're interested in consigning, reach out. Details are below. $4,850. $5,200. I believe this is one that did make James's Instagram. I believe this is one that did get paid. I had some paid at Fanatics. High 4,000s, low 5,000s. So, I mean, clearly, the statement that I made at the beginning, PSA grades too easily. The market agrees. The market shows us that, right? If PSA graded hard enough, if nobody wanted anything better than a PSA 10, this wouldn't exist. This would not be a thing. I'm not saying everyone. I'm not saying you. I'm saying the market, though. The market has some participants that demand more. Will that strengthen over time if print qualities were to get to where all cards had 90+% 10 rates? Will PSA have to reckon with that fact? Truly, I think yes. I truly think this is a sign of where things could go if grading remained too easy. And what I wanted to show here with this, I'm going to show you just another way how easy PSA grades compared to CGC. Unfortunately, not Beckett here. If anyone knows how to compile Beckett data very easily, let me know in the comments below. Shout out to Pokemetrics is where I got this data. Shout out to Gemrate. They're another person who compiles data really well. Maybe Gemrate would actually be able to do this. Maybe Pokemetrics would be able to do this. But in any case, let's go. PSA has graded over... Let me pause quickly. Apologies for the pause. I wanted to have the actual data on hand. So as of September 28th, 2024, when this data was pulled a little over a week ago, PSA has graded 14 million plus Pokemon cards. Almost half of them, 47.04%, 6.66 million Pokemon cards have achieved the grade of PSA 10. 4.3 million Pokemon cards have achieved the grade of PSA 9. So cumulatively, between PSA 10 and PSA 9, you have 77% of Pokemon cards ever graded, all the way from vintage, all the way to modern. I know vintage on average would be lower numbers for both 10 and 9 rate. Modern on average would be higher. But overall, all things considered, vintage, mid-era, modern, ultra modern, all that stuff, Japanese, English, all of it. PSA has graded 77+% of Pokemon cards, PSA 10 and 9. Does the scale actually, like when someone buys a 10 out of a 10, they want to buy the best of the best. Is PSA giving you the resolution, the resolving power to actually deliver that to you? For some, absolutely, they're happy with it. Depending on the set, depending on the niche, depending on what you're into, the PSA 10 might be a difficult enough chase, but is it actually a chase at all for modern cards is the question that I'm posing. CGC has graded, to date, 5 million plus Pokemon cards. They, conversely from PSA, do not award the highest grade most frequently. PSA delivers the PSA 10 most of the time. If you walk into the PSA building and you at random go amongst all their orders and you just randomly pick out a Pokemon card, odds are better that it will receive a PSA 10 than any other grade. It won't receive a PSA 10 more than 50% of the time. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying 47+% of the time over all cards graded. So there's that is the mode at PSA. Take you back to 3rd grade math class, mean, median, mode. The mean works out to be 9.01, actually above a mint grade, above higher than their second highest grade, the mean grade at PSA, whereas the mode grade at CGC is a 9, and the average grade, the mean grade at CGC is an 8.69. So with that, CGC actually follows a normal Gaussian distribution, a bell curve, if you will. You've got that weird little shoulder, which maybe we'll talk about in a future video. I don't know if people noticed it, but I did show half grades here. Maybe that will be a rant that I go on in a future video. Let me know in the comments below. Do you want to hear a rant on how dumb half grades are, why they shouldn't even exist? I can go on that rant if anyone wants to. So this is old CGC data. Gem Mint 10, Gem Mint 9.5 is becoming the Gem Mint 10, and the 9.5 Mint Plus being introduced. So this is CGC data as of January 25th, 2023. This is CGC data as of 9/28/2024, as with the PSA data. So you can see something happened there with the half grade. If you want a full video on that next week, let me know in the comments below. But let's keep this rant where this rant is focused. CGC has a mostly normal distribution centered around the 9 grade. The mean, the average grade that they deliver is an 8.69, and the market cares about that. Some people might see this and say, so what? So what? I just showed you so what? I just showed that the market actually values and pays more for certain cards in those grades. I'm not saying wholesale across the board, so listen carefully to what I'm saying, and don't get emotional. I know some people, again, feathers will be ruffled. Don't hear what I'm saying and extrapolate it across and paint it with a broad brush to say things that I'm not saying. I'm saying in certain instances with certain cards, PSA grades too easily, and the market shows us this. So here's a nice colorful way to show. So the 10.98, that goes with the PSA. The 10P, that's 10 pristine black label, that goes with BGS and CGC. The 10 pristine right there, 10 gem mint at CGC. So this is the 10 gem mint, and this is the 10 pristine between CGC and Beckett respectively, and then this is the 9.5 Gem Mint with BGS and the 9.5 Mint Plus with CGC. So what this is the entire pop report as of, again, September 28th, 2024, of the 349 Charizard EX from Shiny Treasure. This is the how hard it is to grade with each company. At PSA, you have 8,686 PSA 10s. You have only 629 9s, only 76 8s. 91.84% of Charizard 349s from Shiny Treasure that go to PSA. Some amount of discrimination, some amount of cards don't go to PSA, right? I'm not saying all of them produced. Listen to what I'm saying versus what I'm not saying. But of those sent to PSA, 92%, rounding up slightly, 92% get 10s. Does that mean anything? Is it just a gimme at that point? There are cards that are worse offenders than this. There are cards with PSA 10 rates above 95%. It doesn't mean anything. Is it just a participation trophy? Maybe I'll put that in the title. I haven't worked on the title yet. But anyways, CGC, they actually discern the top of the top. I did say earlier, across all CGC cards graded, 9 was the average grade delivered amongst this card. So the mode for CGC is actually a pristine. If we look at BGS, the mode for BGS is a 9.5 gem mint. It is almost 10 times harder, almost only 10% of the amount that we have gem mint 9.5s at BGS. We only have 24 to 230 black labels to gem mint 9.5s. So with CGC, with BGS, you can actually zoom in. You can take that 92% PSA 10s and you can hone in. You can hone in and say, I don't want a PSA 10. I don't want a participation trophy. I want the best of the best, the cream of the crop. Reproducibility, how consistent you can get those, whole different conversation. I've had that. Like, you're preaching to the choir. Anyone who follows this channel knows who I am. You are preaching to the choir, I promise you. How repeatable a black label is, crack one of those out, grade it again. I'm with you. How repeatable the pristine 10 is. We know the PSA 10 is repeatable because every card gets the PSA 10, right? But what I'm getting at here, and what I went into deeper, if you do want to go deeper on this, if you want to investigate this deeper, I would shout out the Pokenomics Patreon, which I am a part of. We do have a service. We have a monthly Zoom call. I went deeper than this. This is a 50,000 foot level. I went deeper into this in past presentations. I will go deeper into this and other topics like this in future presentations, weekly office hours, monthly Zoom calls, where we just dive deep into the data. That's really what I have for today, though. I picked out one card that I think is representative. I think you need to make sure you're comparing apples to apples. If I were to compare a random ultra modern card, I am with you. I am with you that if I were to compare a card like this, it is likely that what is sent to BGS versus what is sent to PSA versus what is sent to CGC is likely not apples to apples with a CGC 10 Neo Discovery First Edition Umbreon. Part of the reason that I know this, and let's see if I can find it. I don't think I have it handy. Man, this card was once a PSA 9. Now became a CGC 10. I could regrade it with PSA, it might get a 10. I could regrade it with CGC, it might get an 8.5, it might get a 9, it might get a 10. These companies have variability. These companies have issues with consistency. I hear all that. I know all that, preaching to the choir. But what I wanted to show you today, and what I think I effectively did with data, is some amount of consumers out there desire more than the PSA 10. The PSA 10 is not enough. And when it's being given to 90, 95, and what I'm not saying here, I think one of the worst business decisions that could ever be made would be for PSA to go and add a premium 10. Beckett and CGC serve that niche. They serve that niche for people seeking more. If PSA were to go out and add a 10 platinum, a 10 premium, a 10 whatever you want to call it, an 11, if PSA were to ever go and add an 11, they would be effectively telling the 80 million cards that have already been graded in circulation, Pokemon, sports, non-sports, otherwise, they would be telling you that, hey, you used to be a 10 out of 10. You used to be perfect in our eyes. Now you're not. Now there's an 11. Resend your card to us so that we can evaluate it and tell you if it's worthy. PSA, I hope you never do that. I'm confident you're smart enough to never do that. But CGC and BGS can kind of exploit that niche, live in that niche, and gain business off that niche, because some people do want it. One thing I do have to say, PSA, I think they did a smart thing in buying SGC. They bought another company. They're keeping the grading scale separate. They have a premium 10 at SGC. So if PSA wants to attack that market, if they want to attack and own that niche, they can do it under the SGC umbrella without merging the grading standards, without merging the grading scales. And they can try to make SGC vie for supremacy amongst CGC and BGS for the premium 10, for the 11, without jeopardizing what they've built over the past 30 plus years with PSA. So yeah, quick, little fun, maybe frustrating conversation for some, but the data's the data. I'm just here reporting it. Don't shoot the messenger. Let me know what your thoughts in the comments below. Is the 10 enough for you? Are you happy with the participation trophy, PSA 10 on your cards? Or do you strive for more with the black label, with the pristine 10? Yeah, let me know your thoughts. I appreciate you all watching. I will catch you all later.